All right, we are back, and we're just gonna click into this, and we're just gonna skippity dippity on right on through. Oh, wait, hang on. My foot pedals moved. Hang on. There we go, did it. Early in the afternoon, my phone buzzes as I get a call. I check it, expecting to see Juliet or Aspen, but I'm surprised and not surprised when I see that it's Lena. Oh wait, is this different? Oh wait, no, it's just this is the start of the play. Oh my gosh, I forgot that the play hadn't even started yet. Yeah. I wonder if the play will be different at all, because I don't think Juliet came to it in Aspen's route, so I wonder if she'll come to it in this route, if she's even still here. I mean, based on the one spoiler I have about this route, I'm like, I think she might stay. I didn't know anything about her leaving to the underworld, so I don't know if she actually does or does not. I'm just like, maybe she doesn't go. I'm expecting either that or Miho goes with her winky face and something winky face happens. Oh, I'm so funny. I'm hilarious. Wait, no. Oh yeah, I can get through this faster if I just do. My leg was really hurting there. It was like really straining. Not long after the sun went down, it started to get pretty cold. Clouds came out of nowhere, and so did the wind. I find myself sitting on the windowsill. Hang on, I need to check where my pedals were placed, because I heard something like kind of creak, and I didn't like that sound. Okay, there we go. I find myself sitting on the windowsill, looking out before I go to sleep for the night. It's cozy in here, and I have plenty of extra blankets if I need them. My breath fogs up the window, but the cold stays on the other side. Up on Mount Victoria, though, in the trees and valleys, it must be miserable out there. I wonder where Silver is, and how she deals with the rain. Does she make a hole and burrow underground like I used to? Or does she find or maybe she finds somewhere dry to sneak into, like an empty shed or abandoned house? She's rude and abrasive, and hasn't said a single nice thing to me. I hope she's safe anyway. As the only other Gumiho I've met, I can't help but care about her just a little. I doubt she feels the same about me. I doubt she feels the same way about me, but that's okay. I wouldn't either in her shoes. I'm pretty sure we've read all this before, but whatever. Still, I know how bad it must feel to be stuck on the out. Still, I know how bad it feels to be out. Still, I know how bad it feels to be stuck out in the cold, with everything turning into mud around you, or shivering under a tree that blocks most but not all of the rain. Wherever she is, I hope she's warm and dry. I wonder if this is the first time someone's wished that for her. The next day, oh wait. The main job is stopping people from getting the door swings open, a big cyclops. Yep.
Pardon?
Who's your...
Oh, no one.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. And I am expecting this stuff for the kids to be the same. So we're just gonna clickety clackety clickety and through. Because like this doesn't have anything to do with Aspen or Juliet. So I imagine this and like maybe the second time they show up is going to be like exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect that to be different because like the other two aren't actually like involved with it.
It's hard to say. Maybe. Oh, I'm the same. Thanks, Ms.
I do. I'll just say the library.
The library. Being out in the city is fun, but nothing beats being at home.
That does sound really nice. I think it's hard to feel like you belong somewhere until you find a special place for yourself.
Okay, but I do wish though, I guess this is a second critique of the game. I do wish that the scenes you've been through before, there would be like an option, like Fate has this, where if it's like a scene that you've been through before, there like a little thing will pop up to be like, hey, do you want to skip through this? I know that's a little hypocritical of me to say when I just clicked on the Tommy stuff, which we've already seen before. But I think that like I also don't want to risk like something not like happening because of it, because I don't really know how like it affects the game. Like I doubt it actually fully changes anything, because again, Juliet and Aspen aren't like involved in this at all, but like there's always like the chance, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's just keep clicking, click. But I mean, like the other scenes that are like unavoidable, essentially.
Yeah.
Like those should at least pop up the little things, be like, "Hey, you've seen this already. Do you want to skip?" And then be like, "Yes" or "No."
Sure.
I think that would just be a really nice quality of life thing, so then I didn't have to click through all of them so much. But I guess second critique. What was my first critique, anyways? Whatever. Later that evening, sitting up in my bedroom, I take a spot on the windowsill again and look
wonder if
out.
those kids found something to write about.
We get students visiting the library all the time, but I've never met any who came from so far away like Cello and her friends, or Cello. I wonder what it must be like to go on a big adventure like that with the people you care about. I bet it would make traveling more fun to have someone to talk to. It'd be nice if I was able to do that. I like being here in Welly, but I know that someday I'll have the urge to journey again and see more of the world. I'd love to show Juliet some of the places I've been. She's helped me make Wellington my home, so I'd like to show her where I came from, what made me who I am. That's part of why I have such mixed feelings about what she told me yesterday. Even if she did go back to the underworld, it isn't like I'd never be able to see her again. It would just be less often. We've seen each other a little bit today, but we haven't really talked much since breakfast. I'd like to spend some time with her though. Especially if I may not have many more chances to do that. I slip on my shoes and head back down to her study, where there's a flicker of lamplight from under her door. I knock 3 times, just like she always does. I open the door to find her at her desk, a pen in her hand. I didn't mean to poopies. Of course, she smiles when she sees me. Good evening, Miho. What brings you here?
Not much. I just wanted to come see you. Are you busy?
Not at all. Would you like to sit?
Yeah, sure.
She sets her pen aside and puts some papers into a drawer as I sit down across from her. They probably come from one of her research projects. In my head, that's the main thing she uses this room
Would
for.
you like some tea?
Why does like the borders keep flickering?
Nah, I'm good.
I
Thanks.
I don't know if that's just me going crazy, but I hope you guys saw that too. What? Okay, there we go. Feels easier to talk to Aspen a lot of the time, mostly because she likes to tease me or has things to complain about. Why does it keep like flickering? When I'm with Juliet, we talk less, which I don't mind myself. It's not that I don't like talking with her, of course, but more like I don't always have something to say. Aspen has her writing and the Bell House, whereas Juliet just has the library and the past. A scratching noise in the corner gets my attention, and I look over to see a couple bats hanging from one of the rafters. Juliet follows my eyes, gazing fondly at the creatures.
Jasper and Fiddlesticks found it a little cold for their liking, so they've been warming themselves inside for a while.
Mentally, I thank the bats for giving us something to chat about.
How'd you come up with their names?
I call them after characters from books or acquaintances I once knew for the most part. The names are more for me than for them.
Do they answer to them?
Oftentimes, yes. Although, I'm sure it's also a convenience for my sake.
Makes sense. Words are hard when you're just an animal.
Where'd the border go?
Back with my person,
Why does that keep
I
happening?
could understand anything they said to me. Just the way they said it. It took a long time as a Gumiho before I learned enough words to understand. Before that, they were just sounds I'd memorized.
I imagine it's like that for Fiddlesticks and the others. Just sounds that they can recognize.
Mm-hmm.
That's all language really is, though.
I mean, that is essentially how, like, dogs do it. Like, they'll associate, like, when you say treat, and they'll be like, oh, that's when I'm going to get the good stuff, or whatever. Like, oh, we're going to go out, and they're like, oh, we're going to go outside for, like, a walk, or, like, whatever, that kind of stuff. I hope my dog wasn't listening to me through the wall. She's not in my room right now with me. She's not in my office. Hopefully she didn't hear any of that and get her excited. We are going to go out and do all that stuff later, but not right now. One of the bats flaps its wings, adjusting itself. I should have taken a breath before I did all that, but remaining hooked to the ceiling.
Do you ever talk to them as a bat?
No. though I'm sure they can sense that part of me. I imagine it's why they chose the library as their roost. Cosette used to call them pets. They've always been wild. Still, she was the one who first began naming them.
Whoa! They've been coming here for that long?
I imagine they're different bats.
Not the same bats, mind you. The ones Cosette knew are long gone. Jasper, Fiddlesticks, and the others are from many generations later. I'm glad that somehow they had knowledge of this place passed down to them.
Just like the people.
Yes, just like them.
History, generations, family. It never really dawned on me. What the? I didn't even think I clicked it. Oh gosh. Sometimes it's so sensitive, sometimes I have to press down hard. I'm so sorry, guys. History, generations, family. It never really dawned on me how Juliet's built her entire life around these ideas. Hearing about her research for people was one thing, but it doesn't stop there. Even the bats have a legacy. That's really cool. I really like the idea of like all this like Juliet stuff and how important like history and legacy is to her. That's really cool. And Juliet's been there for all of it. When I think about it that way, I feel like I can start to understand her reasons for wanting to leave, how much there is for her to miss. But also, her words give me an idea. I may struggle with saying things sometimes, but maybe we don't have to use words to have fun. Oh?
Hey, do you want to go somewhere?
I don't mind, but what did you have in mind?
I was thinking maybe we could go for a walk. Since we're not always awake at the same time like this, I wanted to spend some time with you.
Juliet blinks several times, something I've seen Aspen do when she's surprised, before settling into her usual calm warmth.
I'd like that very much. But isn't it late for you?
It's fine. I'm not that tired. Besides, you're always staying up to talk with me, so it's only fair.
I see. I certainly can't say no to that. Give me just a moment to get ready, and I'll meet you outside.
Okay.
I go downstairs to wait, leaning against the front porch. I may not be able to show her the places I want to, but I can show her one of my favorite things instead. Juliet joins me after a minute, and I lead us off.
It's been a while since we've gone on a walk like this, hasn't it?
Yeah. When we delivered some papers, right? I just started staying at the library last time.
And now here you are, leading the way. Are we going to Mount Victoria by chance?
Yup. Is that okay?
Of course. It's been quite some time since I've been there either.
Was the last time when you came to my den?
Indeed it was. You've gone back a few times though, correct?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite spots.
I leave out the part about going back to my den in particular, since it involves silver.
Actually, there were these kids who came into the library today. One of them asked me some questions like what my favorite place in Wellington is. They're doing a school project, so they'll probably come back again.
That's lovely. You've become a Wellington expert.
I don't know about that. I told them you and Aspen would probably be more helpful. They came all the way from another country.
Oh, how nice. I'd be happy to assist if they do return.
Cool! I'm sure they'd like that.
Streetlights illuminate the way for us, although neither of us would really have trouble seeing in the dark. We don't see any other pedestrians, and the cars that pass are few and far between. We reach the mountain and I guide us off the trail and into the brush. Although I take a different direction than usual, I'm not looking for Silver this time. Although I wouldn't be surprised if she's observing silently close by. After a little bit of walking, I find an area that fits what I was hoping for, open and away from the path. When I stop, Juliet looks around, understandably confused.
What is this place?
Just an open area. I've never been here before. Seeing the bats in your office gave me an idea, though.
And what might that be?
I just want to go for a walk, like I said. Except not in these forms, but our other ones.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so
I know
fun.
we just came all the way here, but you said you don't spend much time as a bat, right? I haven't been spending a whole lot of time as a fox lately either, but it's something I like to do. So, maybe...
I trail off, a little nervous. Maybe I should have told Juliet my idea before making her come all the way out here, in case she doesn't want to. To my relief, though, her face lights up the night. Aww.
I'd love to.
Okay, cool.
I can't help but grin in response. Then I close my eyes, focusing on my bead and tapping into my magic. When I transformed a couple nights ago to track Silver, it felt a little stiff and unfamiliar, because it was my first time doing it in a while. Now, it feels natural again. I open my fox eyes and spread my tails, looking up at Juliet, who hasn't changed yet. She regards me curiously. Now that I think about it, she's never seen me like this before. Whatever she might be thinking, though, she keeps it to herself. Instead, she closes her eyes like I did and lifts her arms to her sides. Her limbs shrink like mine before expanding back out into the shape of wings as she becomes a bat. She gives them a few shaky flaps, fighting to keep herself in the air. Aw, little bat Juliet's so cute. Aww. Aw, that's so precious. Oh my gosh. It takes a few more flaps, but she gets the hang of it quickly. Coasting in a circle over my head at an even pace. Once I'm sure she's ready, I turn tail and start to run. The cool night breeze rushes across my fur, beneath my feet, and the earth is soft and damp, and perfect for running on. I turn my head to the side and get a glimpse of Juliet. Her eyes are focused straight ahead, and she glides through the air like a knife through butter. She follows me effortlessly as I run up and down hills and through a field. Being able to let loose and just run like this is something I've missed doing. I push myself to go even faster, challenging Juliet to keep up. With a few powerful wing strokes, she manages to stay above me, close enough that I can feel the gust of air with each flap. For someone who hasn't done this in a while, she seems to be in pretty good shape. Since I don't have any particular destination in mind, I just lead us wherever seems the greenest and most open. Above us, the stars twinkle merrily while they watch. Suddenly, from the trees in the direction we came from, there's a sound of more wings flapping. Juliet and I both turn to see a small flock of other bats coming to join us. Unlike her, I'm pretty sure these are just regular bats, but they dash and dart around us, following along like they were supposed to meet us here. I can't tell what Juliet's thinking, but I hope she's having just as much fun as I am, as they are, and as I am. Cool, read it technically right the first time. At the very least, it's something new for her. That has to count for something. I run and run until I'm just about worn myself out. As my pace slows down, so does Juliet, until I'm only moving at a slow trot. Juliet has to flap her wings more to stay close, turning circles like the other bats accompanying us. Finally, once I reach a flat grassy area, I come to a halt. I transform back into a person and flop down onto my back, looking up at the sky and Juliet.
Alright, I'm beat.
Juliet comes closer to the ground and then changes forms herself. The bats who are with us squeak and disperse, fluttering off in all different directions. I wave goodbye to them while Juliet watches them go. She takes a seat on the ground beside me.
My, I haven't had a workout like that in years.
She
fans herself with one hand. It's the first time I've ever seen her look worn out.
It's been a bit for me too. You did pretty good though. I was afraid I might leave you behind by accident.
I certainly had to push myself at times. I'm impressed by you as well. It's much more strenuous to run that far compared to flying.
Nah, I'm pretty used to it. Didn't think we'd have company though.
Nor did I. It was nice to have them join us.
Wiping the sweat from her brow, Juliet gazes up at the stars looking content.
Thank you, Miho. That was quite nice.
Glad you had fun. Wasn't sure if you would or not.
It's not the kind of thing I'd have ever done by myself, I'll admit. But I'm glad you brought me out here.
Hearing Juliet's words, and more importantly, being able to see on her face how much she means them, makes me feel good, even without many words between us. Rolling over on my belly, I push myself up and stand.
You must be worn out. Shall we head back to the library?
Yeah, I'm ready if you are. I'll sleep good tonight, that's for sure.
Juliet laughs.
I'll start breakfast a little later in the morning then.
That was like the biggest laugh I think I've ever heard from her. It like kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so nice. Like this was a fun little part. I loved this. I reach out a hand to help her get to her feet. At first, Juliet just stares like she's not sure what she's supposed to do. But then she grabs it and I pull her up.
Wanna do this again sometime? We don't have to transform, but I wanna see your favorite places too.
I would love to. Yes, it's a promise.
Looking up at her, her honest, gentle smile illuminated by the moonlight. I want her to stay. I have to give her a good reason to stay. Aw, that was cute. That was so fun. I loved that. Especially just like Juliet's reaction again. Like I've never like heard that much like come out of her, like that much joy essentially. That was fun. The view from the waterfront is really just the best on a clear day. I take a long, refreshing sit and enjoy the seemingly endless expanse of water. Sometimes it's nice to just enjoy the sight of nature without any expectations. But my patience is rewarded by the sight of passing dolphins. They're far away, just the smallest glimpse of dorsal fins moving in a group, but they're unmistakably dolphins. I whip my head around and it doesn't seem like anyone near me has noticed them, but I guess nobody else is really staring out into the horizon either. What a nice surprise. Wait, I need to take a drink. Hang on. When evening rolls around again, I drift to Juliet's study once again. The door is open and I can see her sitting at the desk inside.
Come in.
I take the seat across from her. I started to think of it as my
How was your
seat.
day today?
It was fine. Not too much happened. Do you want to hang out again?
I feel like she's going to be like, no, I actually have work to do, but maybe tomorrow?
Come to have me make good on my promise already.
Only if you want to. It's fine if you're busy.
I'm never too busy to spend time with you.
Aww.
Great! Remember, it's your turn to pick where we go this time.
Right. Give me just a moment to prepare, and then we'll be off.
You know, I'm literally glad that they're doing this. I'm glad that they didn't, like, immediately get together at the start of Chapter 4, essentially. Because, like, with Aspen, I'm like, I could see how she would love Miho. Or, like, already have feelings for her. Not necessarily, like, love her, but, you know, like, have some feelings for her, essentially. Like, I see how that was already built up to naturally. With Juliet, I'm like, it doesn't feel quite there. But with, like, this kind of stuff and, like, Miho and these connections she's now having with Juliet, I'm like, I could see, like, how Juliet will end up in love with Miho, essentially, you know? And it feels like a lot more natural, so I'm really glad that they didn't try to, like, force, like, yeah, Chapter 4 starts, and they're already in love, they're already kissing and dating and all that stuff. I'm glad that they're, like, actually allowing it to build up naturally. We come to a stop near the ocean, just the two of us. Lights from the city shine behind us, and out on the water, a handful of others glitter from faraway ships. The tide comes in and out, but we just stand outside its reach. Everything is quiet aside from the soft splashing of the water lapping at our feet. The crisp night air carries a trace of salt. Side by side, Juliet and I both gaze out at the open sea.
It's beautiful.
Juliet nods. During the day, this beach is full of people laughing and playing or relaxing in the sun. This light, however, there are only a few others around, barely more than shadows against the sea.
So this is your favorite place?
Keeping her eyes fixed on the distant horizon, Juliet hesitates before answering.
Yes. I'm not sure that I could choose one above all others. I've always loved the ocean, though. I find it calming and serene. Did you know that there are no oceans in the underworld?
That's weird.
Really? No, I didn't know that.
It's true. There are lakes and rivers, but Nothing like the sea. I never even witnessed it as a human. When I heard stories, I thought that surely they were exaggerated. Imagine my surprise when I saw it for myself.
Whoa.
I think back to the first time I saw the sea, when I followed Zhang Yin's trail all the way to its end.
I didn't even know it existed until I saw one. And when I did, I thought it was just a really big lake.
You must have been just as surprised as I was.
I got on the boat and it took me to China. Not that I knew that. I didn't even know what Korea was, or that I'd left it.
I'm sure it didn't take you long, though. You learned very fast.
Only sometimes. There's some stuff that I learned really slowly.
As do we all. As do we all.
Oh? It's the second time she says it, her voice is softer, almost as if she didn't mean to speak aloud. We stand together in silence again for a couple
I
minutes.
used to come here all the time. Just to stand and watch the waves. They're calming, I think.
Yeah. It makes me feel really small. Since no matter what, the ocean stays the same, you know? It doesn't care about us. Or about our lives. It just is.
Juliet nods. This route's gonna be very existential. It's had that vibe since the beginning.
Precisely. I couldn't have said it better.
Did you come here by yourself?
Sometimes. Not always. Cosette loved the ocean too, of course. When she was young, she used to say that she wanted to be the captain of a ship and sail all around the world. And see all there was to see.
Did she ever do it?
No. The first time she set foot on a boat, she got terribly seasick and never boarded one again. We would go to the beach often, though. This one or others. Even if she couldn't live that dream of hers, she never stopped loving the idea. After she passed away, I would return here on my own nearly every night. Sleep was impossible. But I could gain some measure of peace and rest just by watching the tide. Its constant, reliable motion was something I could hold on to. It ebbs and flows, just like life itself.
I glance up at Juliet, half expecting to see tears in her eyes, but there aren't any. Her voice is strong and stable too, not trembling like she's going to cry. She looks down, meeting my gaze and smiles. For a long moment, neither of us look away. It's like that moment in the library, when I felt we were seeing each other for the first time. As we look into each other's eyes, I feel my heart start to beat faster. Even after she peers back out at the water, I feel electrified. Something begins to swirl inside of me, and take shape that I'm starting to understand.
I spent so long in misery and grief that I began to forget it was possible to exist without them. Everything was a painful reminder of what I'd lost, and days that would never come again. And yet, I find that the ocean is still beautiful. Even now, it's more beautiful when beside someone special. Impossibly, unchangingly so. As you said, in the face of such vastness, our petty little lives feel so tiny and insignificant. Years of pain that may feel eternal are really only drops in such a big, big bucket. I think that's what helped me to find some measure of solace and strength to go on.
I'm glad you did.
Me too.
Up in the sky, the blinking lights of a satellite or airship are another reminder of how life goes on around us. They just look like the stars. Standing here next to Juliet, I feel the same kind of warmth that I did last night, after our run together. Something from inside myself that feels good and strong and right. The trials and pains that we've both been through are very different in nature, but I'm glad that they brought us to the same spot. Beside me, Juliet takes a couple steps forward, a smile on her
Would you
face.
care to walk a little?
Sure.
We move slowly, following the shoreline close enough together that I keep bumping into her. The sand makes it hard to walk straight. Juliet doesn't seem to mind though, and for some reason, every time it happens, I feel a little spark of excitement inside. The tide sloshes in a little bit higher, enough to sweep against our shoes, but we keep going. Shells and seaweed decorate the beach, and I take care not to step on anything that might break. We walk until we reach the far end of the beach, where a few stacked boulders and a pathway lead back into town. The boulders are worn down by the waves that sometimes reach here, and the grass path stops abruptly just before it. I notice something in the dark, though, a little green sprout peeking up from the ground beyond where the rest of the plants dare to grow. Julia and I stop walking, but my hand continues to pound with a dull thud as that swirling something, that electrified feeling, makes me realize what it is. Not just realize, but admit to myself, she's using Juliet's metaphor! The name of that spark, that feeling, the reason it feels good to stand next to her, to bump into her, to make her smile.
Hey, Juliet?
Somehow, I don't feel nervous, not like Aspen was, because now that I understand, saying this to Juliet just feels right. Just a step or two ahead of me, Juliet turns around to face me. The moon shines down like a spotlight, illuminating her in the darkness. Her expression is unreadable, and I wonder if she knows.
I'm in love with you.
A small wave crests, smashing against the shore. It splashes my leg, but I don't mind. I barely notice. I consider saying more, about how I remember her words that day when Aspen told me her own feelings, or about how I feel when I'm with her. For once, there's a lot I could say, but choose not to. I've said all that I need. With Juliet, so much has always been unspoken that I'm confident she can understand me now. Right now, her eyes go wide, but otherwise, she remains unchanged. I wait. Now that I've said that, I don't know what I hope she'll say. Thinking about it myself as the kind of person who would be in love still feels weird, but also feels true. Whatever else that might include, and whatever Juliet might feel about me, that's a whole other issue. So is everything else between us, like whether or not she'll be leaving. No matter if she stays or goes, no matter if she feels the same way I do, none of that's important right now. Right now, I'm just glad to be able to put Right now, I'm just glad to be able to put a name to these feelings. Juliet finally takes a step forward and places a hand on my shoulder. I love you as a friend. And then she just leaves. She touches me. She's touched me a lot before, but this time, I'm hyper aware of her presence.
Thank you for telling me, Miho. I must confess that I don't know what to say. My thoughts are all aflutter right now.
She's so blushy, and I've never heard someone say a flutter right now. That's a fun thing to say.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know.
But you deserve a response. I simply don't know how to give it at the moment. Would it be okay if we talked about this more tomorrow?
For the first time ever, Juliet seems truly at a loss for words. At Cosette's grave, or when I yelled at her afterwards, or any other time something has happened, she's always managed to regain her composure. But now she seems lost. Honestly, I think I prefer it that way. I reach up and place my hand on hers.
Yeah. That's fine. Really.
Thank you.
Juliet's hand lingers on my shoulder a moment longer before sliding out from beneath mine, and I miss it as soon as it's
Wanna
gone.
go back to the library?
She nods, seemingly relieved. We climb the small slope up the road and begin walking back together, side by side like before. I keep my gaze firmly fixed ahead of me, and I'm pretty sure she does too. Both of us keep our thoughts to ourselves. My heart turns somersaults as we go, filling me with nervous energy without an outlet. Now that I've said them, the enormity of my words and just what they mean for me has begun to sink in. Juliet's kindness and compassion, the memories we've already made together, and the way she understands me in a way that only other fabled can. All those things have been pointing in this direction for some time. It's just that I only now figured out where that road was leading. When we get back to the library, we wordlessly hug each other before going our separate ways. In my bed, I lie awake and stare at the ceiling.
In love.
I know what I sound like when I'm lying, and it's not how I sound now. My feelings are real and true, and now they're out there. Tomorrow feels so far away, and yet I don't know what I'm waiting for. What would it mean if Juliet loves me too? What would it mean if she doesn't? I'm still trying to figure out what it means for me to love myself. I haven't gone to the other parts yet. As I close my eyes, though, thinking about her hand beneath mine and the feeling of her arms around me, I can't help but think maybe I'm hoping for more than I can admit. All right, and with that being said, we're going to end that here. That was a big episode. We got so much. We got them running. We got the scene of them being like, I'm in love with you. We got so much in that one. Oh my gosh, I loved it. What a good little part. Oh, I'm so excited. Hang on, let's go. Title. Yes.
Oh,
Load.
yeah,
Oh, that's
what happened.
scary. We're so far through. I thought it was only going to be at 79. Listen, every percent that it goes up is just sort of another reminder that we're getting closer to the end, and I don't know how to feel about that. Like, it's simultaneously very exciting to be like, to actually like get through a whole story that you love, like to see all parts of it. And it's also exciting to be like, because after this, I have, like, hang on, what do I have? I don't want to click out of this because it might like break the recording essentially. But I do have Highway Blossoms, Nature Valley Girls, I think is what it's called. I have First Snow, and I have one other one because I bought them all in a triple pack. And First Snow is free, so I have 4 ready and raring to go. So I'm like, for when this ends, I'm ready for it, you know? Just because I want to see the rest of Studio Lane's works because it's so good. It's so good. So I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I love these characters. They're my favorites. I love them. They're so good, and the story is so great. So I was like, I'm simultaneously excited to see what else the studio has to offer, but I'm also sad to eventually be leaving this one behind, and we're getting closer. We're not, I say that as if we still don't have 21% left, but it's just like, ooh, we're getting there, and that's scary, but also exciting. So yeah, with all that being said, I'll see all you beautiful people in the next one. Bye-bye!